kìa.
Side with his smoke on is Red 6. That's Flight Lieutenant Dave Montenegro. He was born in Bogota, Colombia, but he came back to the UK at the age of 1. We call him Monty. He's the synchro leader this year. And with him on the right-hand side is Red 9, Flight Lieutenant Zane Sennett. Remember, he's our Cupid. On the left-hand side is Red 7, Benjamin Plank, known as Planky, being followed by Red 8, Dave Davis. Together, we call these 4 aircraft Jippo, and this is called the Jippo class. Are just 100 feet above the grass, and they pass just 100 feet apart, about 33, 35 meters, which is as close as you want to go. Watch now as Red 6 calls a turn reversal. There's the call as he and Red 7 cross for the cyclone. So Jippo and Synchro finish. And now we hand over to Red 8 coming in from the left-hand side. Red 8 is Flight Lieutenant Dave Davis, known as Horse. He's from Wales, North Wales in fact, and he's lining up with Enid, who are coming in from the right-hand side. We call this the Goose. It's time to put on the colours of our national flag, the red, white and blue. I'm afraid we don't have black, red and gold smoke, as Red 8 pulls up through the middle at about 7G with a trail of red, white and blue smoke. Enid enter a right-hand turn as they mention the Goose. So Reds 1 to 5, Enid are going into a steep climb on the left-hand side. We call this manoeuvre the steep climb. Really should think of something better than that. Although a young man last year told me this looks a bit like a cobra's neck as the pilots push over at the top. So we'll call it the Cobra. So Enid finish and they hand over to Synchro coming in from the right and left. 7 is on the left, 6 is on the right. This is called the Carousel, and this is the first of 3 opposition passes. Red 6, who's on the left-hand side, must apply a predictable 6G bend. Red 7, who's now on the left with his blue smoke on, has the contract to avoid him. And that was the second of the 3 passes. Here comes the third. Lanky Red 7 been working really hard on that. Finish the carousel and it's time to look straight out to the front. Very shortly you'll see the headlights and the smoke of Enid as they run in for another one of my favourite manoeuvres. You can see Red 1 barrel rolling around the smoke of the other aircraft. Head on, it makes the mathematical symbol for infinity, so we call this the infinity breath. Right-hand side as we try to pick up the aircraft of Jippo. Jippo, as I said earlier, are Reds 6 to 9, coming in from the right-hand side for another one of my favourite manoeuvres. Shortly you'll see Red 6 roll upside down with Red 7, who will fly inverted close formation just above the trees on the right-hand side. Reds 8 and 9 will roll around their smoke trail. Very quickly, see what we call this the call-through. letting 6 know he's complete with the corkscrew, and 6 rolls out as Jibbo disappear on the left-hand side. So you can imagine how difficult it is to fly close formation aerobatics the right way up. Imagine how difficult it is upside down. Okay, in from the right-hand side here comes Enid, stepping down into line astern. This manoeuvre is called the slalom because the British are known as the best skiers in Europe. Normally, the even-numbered aircraft fly on the right-hand side of the formation and the odd numbers fly on the left. But as you see them now, they're the other way around. The odds on the right, the evens on the left. And to swap them back, well, this is the clever part of this manoeuvre. And actually, this is why we call it the slalom. It's nothing to do with the British and their skiing ability. We are, of course, dreadful skiers. But you can see why we call it the slalom. That manoeuvre requires complete trust between all of those 5 pilots who finish off the slalom with some red, white and blue smoke. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've just heard that Red 6, the synchro leader, has had a problem in his aircraft. He's going to have to return back to to former RAF base Manston on the east coast of Kent. Red 1 and Reds 8 and 9 will remain to finish off the show, although it will be a slightly reduced pattern now. I do apologise for that. Red 6 has a loose article in his cockpit. The Hawk aircraft which we fly, which is the Royal Air Force's primary fast jet trainer, is quite old now. It's approaching 30 years old. So with old aircraft, just like old cars, occasionally we do have problems with them. So the safest thing is for Red 6 to return home now without completing any more aerobatic manoeuvres. He's leaving behind him everybody else except Red 7. And if you take a look out to the left-hand side, just above the C-160 over there, you can perhaps see the team as a 5-ship running in. This is Enid formation, Reds 1 to 5. Now Enid Blyton, as I mentioned, is a famous British author who wrote books called The Famous Five, so that's where we gave this formation its name. This is another one of my favourite manoeuvres. It's an extremely difficult one for the pilots to fly. We call these rollbacks, and it's good to listen to the radio.
Enid, smoke off, stop. 2 and 3, hold up.
So as Red 1 commands, 2 and 3 barrel roll around the smoke of 4 and 5 who shuffle up to fill the gap. That was Kirsty, who's telling Red 1 in a very masculine voice that she's complete with rollbacks. Now at this stage we normally see Reds 6 and 7 back with us, but unfortunately as they've had to return, there'll be a small delay while Reds 8 and 9 join with Reds 1 to 5 on the right hand side there. You can see Red 8 is joining now. Now that manoeuvre you just saw, which we call rollbacks, I think it's a fantastic looking manoeuvre, but as you can imagine, very difficult for the pilots to fly. If you ask them how do they do it, they'll probably tell you they just pull and roll as hard as they dare. In the back seat of the aircraft during that manoeuvre many times, I can tell you it's every bit as impressive in the aircraft as it is on the ground. So on the left hand side, the formation has taken up the shape of Vixen, as we call it, and they're turning in towards us now for the finale of the show. For the 2 outside pilots here. Reds 8 and 9, 8 is on the right hand side, the high aircraft. Reds 9 is on the low side, the left hand side, are 2 of the 3rd year pilots on the team, and we put our most experienced pilots in the widest positions. So So ladies and gentlemen, slightly shorter display than normal. The finale of our display here at Koksijde, the Vixen Break. Ladies and gentlemen, the red arrows. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a 7G break. Finished our demonstration here at Koksijde in 2011. The aircraft are now returning to Manston on the east coast of England. Red 1 has his smoke on to allow everyone to see him for the rejoin. I have to say it's been a great privilege and honour for us to be invited to Belgium this year to display for you. We love to come here, the hospitality is wonderful, so thank you very much for the warm welcome. I think for me really it just remains to say thank you very much for having us. We hope you enjoyed the show and perhaps we'll see you next year.
Well, I think in return, Graham, I would say thank you very much for your presence here. We appreciate that you were here. I think on behalf of the public, I can say thank you, congratulations for a wonderful display. It was fortunate, just at the end that we missed 2 airplanes, but still, I don't think we ever saw any difference in displaying and the quality of display. Wonderful, the job was very well done. I hope to see you again in the very near future.
Chris, thank you very much, and from the Red Arrows, goodbye.
Ja, dames en heren, fantastisch.